my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Oh yeah, yeah, at last the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night I looked at you, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill that I have never known. Oh yeah, you smiled, you smiled. Oh man, the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you are mine at last. Hello, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I don't know if we've got YouTube. Nothing's coming through with comments, which normally you're very, very good. So anyway, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I hope you're having a great day. Wasn't it a great day yesterday? Just to let you know, I am wearing I don't know. Some may call it global influencing top. So this is not even my recent carnation, which is even better quality, but this is still soft. This is one of the first gold hoodies. This gold, it's called foiling. It's one of the first gold hoodies I ever produced with this amazing uh, gold thing on it. Definition. Look at that. Look. Um, so I want to talk about the GRA today. I think it's really, really important that we start thinking about next steps, don't you? And the next steps for me is clearly I made a political party nearly a year ago, and we've done 2 election cycles, one council, local councils, and one national. And really, the next step now is to really sort out the GRA. And we should all feel very inspired by the good work, um, of um, women, but and men across the United States of America who helped draw up the executive order. And I think it's so good on language. Clearly, it's a legal document, so it's very wordy. But the important things, it talks about what is biological sex, what is a woman, what does female mean, who qualifies, what that actually means, what's the practical application of that. Oh, thank you, Turf Bab, for saying YouTube is fine at our end. I'm just not getting any comments through, and I can't comment on YouTube either. Don't know why that is. It might be something I've done. I did think I could have a little merch shop underneath, but obviously I'm still totally throttled. Can I just say, I'm going to put this up. Your purchases over the last few days have been terribly wonderful, but we are nowhere near where we need to be as an organisation, or where we have been before. We have got just so much more work to do, and I think if you look at what happened in America, it's just proof that what we do works. Like, that's all it is. It's not, it's not rocket science. We're not the only ones. And I hate to say this, but I think my American friends would involved in, actual activism, not Twitter activism, or just sharing tweets or contributing like a fiver to a crowdfunder. I mean, the women that get out and do the work, they would also say that me going to America genuinely made a difference. It's just like the task they had was so absolutely astronomically massive. And also, there was this thing on the left about not working across the aisle, and those brave women that did. Um, you know, Left wing women over here criticized Wolf for accepting some money so that they could fight a case to support women's rights. So because the ADF has other, well, it has other irons and other fires, right? And because of that, um, all the like women who'd like to be important but aren't, and then some women who are known names, they totally at every opportunity they criticize the women for working and taking money um, from the ADF. Now, I just want to say to each and every one of you, and I've been quite consistent on this, and this is why I'm right. Um, I don't care who you are, I'll take your money. I don't care who you vote for, I'll take your money. I'll spend it exactly how I want, however. You don't get to influence what I do with that money, but I'll take your money. I mean, as yet, we haven't really had any money or donations in where we've ever felt that we needed to explain that to the person donating. In fact, my lack of penis and lack of kind of adherence to any political side means we don't really get any money. Everything I've had to do is like a scrappy kind of merchant where I'm just saying, buy my stuff. Help fund a campaign that, I'm not going to lie, is the most globally significant campaign against this shit. Right? It just is. There's a reason I'm going to Brazil, and it's not because the women in Brazil have never heard of me or don't think I can make a difference. It's because Let Women Speak does make a difference. It's because Party of Women is going to make a difference. It's because I make a difference. I don't know what else I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. And I'd love to come to Germany. Um, let me just do this. Okay. Ask Hope says, please do something in Germany. We need help about self ID law. We need support. Ask Hope. All you need to do, get a group of you. You need about 5 of you really to make it a doable task. Get about 5 of you. Get in touch with us. And you can put on a Let Women Speak event, and we will come over, and we will make it the first Let Women Speak in Germany, and we will come over. But it kind of needs to be that way around. And the reason we've decided to do that is because when we do that and women gather together and form friendships, organizing friendships, rather than me just come in and just plonk and blah, blah, blah and leave, it really does make a lasting impact. You know, they make those women make those connections for their activism and for other things that they want to do. And so that's what I would recommend. You just need about 4 or 5 people to get together to put on the event, and then we can put on the event. So that's all you need to do, and then I promise we will come. Great. So you need to go to Let Women Speak and fill out one of the contact forms. If you go to the contact page, you fill out one of the forms, and then that's myself, Laura, and Iris. Iris is in charge of sort of events, and Laura is in charge of locals and women, and I'm in charge of, I don't know, right now it feels like the world. And so we will help you put on the event so that women in Germany can have their say. And what we will do before that also, Hope, is we will do an English German speaking space. And I'll put it through here so that everyone can hear exactly what's going on in Germany, and it can encourage more German women to come. And then what we also know is that it feels so terrible to say this, but wherever I go, we do make news. We just do. And the trans rights activists come out, and we just make news. So anyway, so what we saw, and I'm going to share it. I'll do it like that. So I'm going to share my screen. No, I'm not going to do that. So in this document, which you can all take a look at, make sure you can see it. Lovely. That might be better. In this document are just things that you'd want to read in this document. And that is why it's absolutely crucial. Look, sex. Refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. It is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Hallelujah to that woman. And I understand it's a woman and a man who wrote this. Man or men, boys and boy. It's about human males, adult human females. What did I want to say about that?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
So that's quite wonderful that we've got that in our some might say arsenal. We've also got female means a person belonging to at conception.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being
tough. And then gender ideology, gender identity. It's just so beautiful. It's really like it covers all bases. It really does cover all bases. And it talks about the application of it, why it's important. Now, that executive order is replacing the previous executive order. And if you don't know this, I hope you know this, but if you don't know this, Maureen says, I find it quite a concise document considering its government. I will agree with you. It's It's shorter than some very important women's tweets. That's what it is, like Twitter threads. It sort of says everything in very short sentences, as concise as possible, and it's actually quite easy to read. Now, in the UK, in Canada, you obviously have Bill C-16, which you have to defeat, and I'm sure that there are political ways of doing that. You either like in this country, you either have to overlap it with something else, although you're always going to then be victim to or very vulnerable, sorry, to legal challenges where people go, well, actually, in this law we did this, and in this law we did that. We need to get the words gender out of every single place in the English legal system, and the Scottish legal system, and the Welsh legal system. It just needs to get out. We need to go back to sex. It's always a place I like to be. We need to go back to sex, and we need to make sure that what we are doing is talking in truthful language, not vague at all, not vague. So the first thing look, this is my view. This is what I do. I raise the alarm. Right, that is what Let Women Speak is all about. Let Women Speak is about saying to everyone, do you know what's going on? Do you have any idea what's going on in your kids' school? Do you know what they're teaching? Do you know what your rights are? Do you know that policeman's allowed to put his hand down your pants? Do you know that a male prison officer can call himself a woman and therefore be entitled to be treated as a woman in the prison system? Do you know that there are nurses, there are known nurses, there are men in this country who absolutely everyone else on the ward knows they're fucking perverts. Everybody knows they're a pervert. They wear women's clothes to work. They get treated like women at work. I don't know, apart from the pay and anything that actually is detrimental to women. So they're treated as women at work, and they hang around. They hang around waiting to be called in as chaperones. So that if you didn't tune in, and Turf Talk is coming back. I've just had a bit of a nightmare with the company that does the phones, which is extortionate. So again, if you would like to go up there and donate, or just go to the shop and buy something, that would help fund everything that I do. So a woman phoned into Turf Talk. She'd been an ER nurse, and then she'd just sort of been struck down with this chronic illness that had many, many elements to it. As often chronic illness does, it kind of brings about so many different things. And it took a really long time for her to get some sort of joined up care in which she was being treated, like her whole body was being treated. Like not one man for an ear, one man for a finger, one man for a leg. It was like just, it was just a whole doctor. And she found a therapy and a range of like medical treatments that worked. And this has taken years to build up these relationships. And when she's with one of the doctors, who does happen to be a man, he had to give her sort of intimate exams. And he said, would you like a chaperone? And she said yes. And the person that came in that room was a man. Okay. And the doctor who's working can't say anything because he'll lose his career. Although, can I just say, what a fucking coward. What a despicable man. How can you say first do no harm and then allow that to happen? But she was much kinder about that. She can't say anything because she's worried then that she's going to risk the relationship she's built up for 10 years. So this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We are talking about this absolute nightmare of these LARPing perverts. We've got them in schools. Like, anyway, so people have to know that it's not, poor John. He was just trapped inside. I think my husband showed me the other day. There was someone on LinkedIn, and there was something like 3,000 comments and 6,000 likes about how brave and wonderful. And you've got like Dave the scaffolder, I don't know, working in office or something. But Blokey McBloke, And then he decides that this is the story of his transition. And then he's like 1980s sexy secretary bloke, right? And everyone's like all celebratory. Well, that's something interesting about that. It's the virtue of it. It's like, why do you need to tell that man that he's great? But anyway, that's another story. So my job is to sound the alarm. Now, what's been happening to many of us over the last few years is we just get cancelled in places. Like I've been traveling and my hotel is cancelled when they find out who I am. I can't even get a PO box because of who I am. So I'm quite penalised, which is why never did that. Which is why you need to help fund this campaign. Because every little place that I potentially could sort of do things, it doesn't happen for me. It really has been like swimming through treacle. You wouldn't know it because I'm such a freaking genius, but it's not been easy. Not sort of metaphorically filleting people with money. Like it's very difficult. It's very difficult not being in the in crowd. In fact, being very much kept out of any crowd. It's quite difficult to raise the money. But what it does is I have a clear vision. I don't have a committee. I owe nobody. I don't owe anyone a damn thing. And so what I want to do with Let Women Speak and Party of Women will be done. It will be done. So anyway. To be fair, the doctor would get disciplined for outing the troon. Yeah, I don't care. I know, to be fair, he couldn't blah, blah, blah. To be fair, he enabled practical sexual assault of a woman in his care. So I really, really don't give a fuck about him and his job. I'm just at the point that like Germany and places where there is proper dehumanizing people to the point that people would wave the trains where these people are going to die. It doesn't start with guns at the door. It starts with this. And we can't do that because he'll lose his job. Oh, he had to sack all the Jews in his organization because, otherwise he wouldn't get a promotion or he wouldn't get a job, or he had to sack the Jewish woman who worked for him because otherwise nobody would come in his shop. Like that's the way that authoritarianism works. It doesn't work just by like saying, I'm going to stab you with a bayonet. It literally just does these incremental kind of distancing things, which brings me to my other point, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, which is the left, is it that some people on the left fell, I've seen this thing where everyone says, oh, you've made me agree with Trump. Oh, I disagree with everything. I'm a proper left wing. I disagree with everything that Trump has ever said. But, the progressives on the left not abandoning women and girls and doing this has made me agree with Trump. And it pains me. It just totally pains me. Like he's right on this, but he's wrong on everything else. Because I'm on the left. And if I could just stay on the left, then, and I just think, is it because it's the left that this permissive, well, not even permissive, is it? It pretends to be permissive. It's bullshit. It's this veneer of something. And I do want to return to that. But the GRA. So the GRA is the legislation we need to get rid of. My job is to make it that everybody is talking about it. That's kind of my job. That's adult human female. Simple messaging. Simple to understand. Very difficult to argue against. Simple messaging. There has not been a single phrase in this entire global campaign that is better than this. There hasn't been one. Not on the delivery, not on the simple kind of, not on the design, not on the aesthetic, nothing. There's been nothing more successful than this. And so that's the job of this, is to say, hey, do you know that this is controversial? Do you know this is controversial? Did you know? And it's worked really, really well. And Party of Women, what Party of Women does alongside Let Women Speak is Let Women Speak goes, hello, hello. And then what Party of Women does is it just opens that door a little bit further. That's what it does. It just opens the door into conversations and places that we have previously been shut out because I can't even rent a room. So it does that. And it gives us a way of talking about it when people are talking about issues. Like most of the time, maybe most people aren't really talking about stuff. They're not really thinking, oh, is my council doing this or is my council doing that? But during elections, people start talking about issues. Like they have a bit more of a space to do it. So I've been talking about repealing the GRA, to be fair, since about 2018. Since I understood about how it came about, the fact that it was really homophobic, and the only reason that we did it is because people weren't allowed to get married, and so like after I don't know, mutilation surgeries, they could then pretend to be the opposite sex and get married, and that's what it's come from. It's all connected to the European Court of Human Rights, which I think is something we should leave. I'd like to leave the European Court of Human Rights. I'd like to totally abandon the Equality Act 2010, rip it up, start all over again, have something else. The majority of the time the Equality Act is used is in employment tribunals. Well, let's just start treating people fairly. That would work for me. Let's just start having a workers' rights act or something where, you don't get to take the piss out of your employer, but you also, you have a fair crack at being treated fairly without having to be a protected characteristic. Okay. What else? The GRA just needs to go. Gender identity needs to be forgotten as a thing. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Like we don't have a nappy fetish identity that isn't protected in law. A gimp mask wearing identity that's not protected in law. So fancy dress, I don't know why that's protected in law. I would like to see all of the language that we have been erasing. I'd like it to return. And that document, I think, is a really good foundation for all of us to sort of say, well, look, this is what happened in the United States of America. And for all intents and purposes, we have something very similar in this country. It's called the GRA. It's enabled all this shit. Let's just get rid of it and start again. So that is something that Party of Women is doing. And I encourage it. Look, I'm not going to be prime minister. I mean, Jesus, I think I should be prime minister. But I'm not going to be prime minister. I'm not going to get elected. I probably couldn't even get a seat on a council. That's not going to happen. But we are going to need more and more of you to put yourselves forward. And it's great. Loads of little tiny things popping up all over the place. Great. I'm sure it makes you feel good. But nothing works better than a united movement. Nothing works better than recognizable messaging. Like that's just how stuff works. And it's a damn shame, but I'm afraid that this is the most recognizable and successful campaign. So I'm just saying, if you want to make a difference, there are many ways you can do it. And I think Party of Women is a fantastic way to get involved because we will have elections. We will have council elections in the not too distant future. So I'm just asking if you want to make this work, if you want to make sure that we are also in the final stages of this absolutely insane ideology, then you have to start thinking strategically. And it might make you feel good to go and do something fantastic. Maybe you go and, I don't know, sticker a pub toilet, and that makes us all feel great. But if they're all just sort of unrelated messages, then I don't know that this is going to be achieved. What happened in the United States of America is, I don't know. I'm going to say woman, adult, human. Everyone started talking about what is a woman. It was a question I was asking quite a long time ago. But that's what happened. And then you had the American right that realized that this was something that people cared about. And I'm not saying that they didn't care about it. I'm just saying they realized that they should be talking about it and that people cared, and it made a genuine difference in the election results. I don't know that we even have a single politician as charismatic enough to carry this off. So we might need to help propel this into the forefront of everybody's minds. So if you want this, genuinely, if you want this to succeed, and I'm sorry if I sound facetious and boastful, but I'm also telling the truth. If you want this to succeed, Party of Women and Let Women Speak are your places or that you should be going. I can't say it any fairer than that. Wherever we go in the world, we make a difference. So anyway, if you let me just return to that. What was I going to return to? I was going to return to the bit about the left. Is it? I just think the left have been vulnerable to paedophilia and accepting paedophilia in the guise of being seen to be something, accepting. And then this latest thing, hating women under the guise of being accepting of men dressing as women. And I just wonder, is that because the left has an issue with the be seen to be? Like, it's very female. And I wonder if it's like a bit beta male, female, being seen to be something. Like, is that a characteristic of the left? Because it feels like it might be. It feels like, I was just thinking about it this morning. I just thought, it feels like it's inevitable that the left will be invaded, like repeatedly invaded with these, and women sometimes say it's a weaponization of our kindness and our empathy. No, it's not. It's the weaponization of how we wish to be seen. It's nothing to do with genuine kindness. It's nothing to do with genuine empathy. It's nothing to do with genuine acceptance and tolerance. It's this competitive thing that women do and beta males do, which is signaling to other people, I'm such a great person. I'm such a nice person. I'm so nice. I'm so nice. Not an indication that they're genuinely nice people. So that's just what I want to say, because I think we have to get away from this thing that the morally righteous and good people are on one side of politics or the other. I think we have to accept that the left will prostitute women, will ignore the rape of children, girls, will massively ignore the rape of girls. And in fact, will even accuse women talking about their experiences with the Pakistani Muslim paedophile rape gangs and tell them that they're being racist. Right? That's a socialist feminist woman from Brighton whose name I forget. Mainly because I want to. So I just think, is the dishonesty and the distance between what's really the motivation and what is the pretend motivation for doing something in the left, is that dishonesty genuinely always going to be in the left, and it's going to always make the left susceptible to doing really, really bad things in the guise of pretending it's good. That's just what I want to say. As for whatever the criticism of the right is, I just think we all know what the criticism of the right is. We can all say it. We can say it forever. It doesn't need to be said, because I don't. Maybe they do, but I don't very often meet some sort of overzealous person on the right that thinks they are the morally good, and doesn't speak sympathetically about people who they think are misguided on the left. The other way round, it's not true. That isn't how it happens. Anyway, if you would like to help Party of Women, then I'm going to direct you to our website, at partyofwomen.org and letwomenspeak.org. It would be amazing if you would have a look at your local council, parish council, by-election, and go for it. Just go for it. We just have to have these conversations. We cannot take another 4 years. Like, if Labour get in again, if the Conservatives don't buck their ideas up, and Reform and the Conservatives split the vote, or God knows what could happen from now and then, we can't continue to go down this very dangerous road that we're in. And now the Americans have taken over us. The time is now that we can then talk to people. We can say, look, in the United States election, 2024, 25, 24, one of the key issues affecting voters was this issue of what is a man and what is a woman. And so we know that the people of the UK care about this. We know they care about it. So if you can keep speaking the truth, even if all around you are barefaced liars, then I promise we will win. If you can look to our good friends in the United States of America, and you can tell the rest of the UK that it can be done here too, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
This has been what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost